So this week we're going to be talking about 6 things you should do before you even start investing. And this is quite timely for me because I actually haven't started investing yet.
And there's a couple of things you kind of want to get out of the way before you even take that very first step of investing. First and foremost, clear your high interest debt. When we say high interest debt, we're usually talking about a credit card. So if you already have debt on a credit card, try get rid of it. If you don't have a credit card, stick with that. The reason you want to stay away from credit card debt is because it's an example of compound interest working against you. So we talked about compound interest before, where over time your money compounds and layers to become even more valuable and money starts earning money, but it can work in the opposite direction. Credit cards are an example of that. So you don't want to be spending, or paying rather, 20% interest going in the wrong direction. So stay away from credit cards.
Yeah, so a good start for Cian with no credit card.
Yeah, haven't had a credit card either myself. More luck than anything. So
yeah. Where should you start in terms of even having the money to invest?
Pay yourself first is what we would say. And by that we simply mean treat your savings and your investments as if it's a monthly bill. So think of your rental bills that you pay every month, maybe a Spotify account, Netflix. Those things come out of your account and you don't even think about them anymore because they're just every month they're leaving your account. You need to try and do the same thing with your investments and your saving. Aim to save approximately 10% of your income per month. Have a direct deposit set up from your paycheck, ideally either into a savings account or into your brokerage account. If 10% is too high a number to aim for something, because something is better than nothing. As time goes by, you want to try and aim for that 10% mark. And of course, the earlier and the more you save, the better for you in the long run.
Presumably you don't want to put too much into investments though, right? Like you want to have money for your food and accommodation and transport expenses.
Absolutely, you got to eat.
Yes, I would hope so.
And that's what we would call an emergency fund. Imagine tomorrow it hits the fan and you have zero money coming into your account. How long are you going to last for? How are you going to pay for your food, your electricity, your heating, your phone bill? All those things are going to have to be paid for. You need to have an emergency fund in place so that if something like that happens, you can survive for a period of time. How long is that period of time? Aim for 6 to 12 months of living expenses. For many, that might sound like quite a lot. So again, start somewhere. 3 months is usually the minimum that is recommended. Anything short of that, you could leave yourself in a bit of trouble. Aim for 6 months. Start building up to that, and that will just give you a chance that if something does happen, so you're in an accident or you lose your job or a pandemic hits, you have a safety net there to keep you supported. And most importantly, it will mean that you don't have to sell your investments at the worst possible time because you need to generate cash.
Yeah, I think I would be someone who would need a pretty big emergency fund. Like I
eat a lot of food.
I eat a lot of food, go on a lot of buses. So like I think like I wouldn't have quite a high risk level. You know, I think I'd probably have a medium to low risk level. So okay. Anything I can do to, you know, nullify the level of risk is an action I would take.
And that's something that, again, for a beginner investor, being self-aware enough to establish that and know, okay, how am I going to react if my holdings like depreciate by 50% in value tomorrow? Something terrible happens and the companies you're invested in perform poorly, your stock values drop 50%. How are you going to react? Are you going to sell everything? Are you going to hold fast? You need to remember that and understand that risk and reward are correlated. 2 hypothetical examples. If you invest in Coca-Cola, superly well-known company, been around for decades, probably is not going to disappear tomorrow. On the other hand, let's say Snapchat, newer company, has had ups and downs recently. Some people argue it's going to be great. Some people say I don't use Snapchat anymore. The risk and reward there means that Coca-Cola is probably a lot safer and steady, but you're not going to see crazy growth. Snapchat may be more exciting, faster growing potentially, so you might see better returns there. All you need to remember is establish what your risk tolerance is and allocate your funds accordingly.
So when you establish like your risk tolerance and you've got everything in place,
right,
like, what do you reckon is a good amount to start with in terms of stocks? Like, should I buy one, several?
Yeah.
You know, how do I even start thinking about that?
It is probably the question that gets asked the most, and the answer is there is no answer. But the argument would be that you want to have enough stocks that you can be diversified. You want to have enough stocks across different industries, geographic locations, and types of asset classes to ensure that if one performs poorly, it won't adversely affect your overall portfolio. That number most experts would say is around the 12 to 15 stock mark. That sounds like a lot for a beginner. So first and foremost, just start. Buy a company you love, you admire, you think is relevant and going to be around for a long while. And then say aim to buy a new stock every month for 12 months. That'll bring you up to the 12 stock mark. Ideally, you buy those in different industries, different geographic locations, because that will diversify your asset base. The only clarification on that would be you can hold a lot more than that if you so wish. If you hold less, that's also okay. But as a beginner investor, you do want to spread out that risk. 12 to 15 is probably a good starting point to aim for.
One of the things that has stopped me a lot so far is not even knowing which broker to use. So how would you, if you're a new investor, how would you even start to think about choosing a broker? What are the elements you should look at?
One of the most confusing things you can look at. There are so many brokers out there. As you said yourself, there's ones advertising being like, buy this, it's going to go up 100%, 200%, it's free to join, it's free to buy and sell. It can be overwhelming. So we're going to review a couple of brokers ourselves. We're in Ireland, so a couple of the brokers we're going to look at are probably more European and Irish focused. In the States, you have a lot more choice, which is great if you're in the States, not so great if you're not. As a general practice, one, your decision is going to be influenced by where you are located. Secondly, aim for a broker that offers really low trading commissions, if not free trading commissions. As a beginner investor, this is really important because you probably are investing with limited funds and you don't want to handicap yourself by losing money every time you make a trade. Third thing, and probably a little bit less relevant, is what sort of investment tools and advice do you want as part of your brokerage? Some brokers, such as like Revolut in Europe, have really basic apps. It's just buy, sell, a little bit of news, and that's it. Other brokers, like another one example is Interactive Brokers. They are much more complex. They have lots of insights, lots of reports. For a beginner investor, might not be that relevant. Decide what sort of information and structure you want with the broker, and that'll also set you on the right track. We're going to be talking about them in another video, so stay tuned.
So I think it's time to get started then.
Oh God, yeah.
So to summarize then, the 6 things you should do before you even start investing: clear high interest debt, pay yourself first, create an emergency fund, establish your risk tolerance, know how many stocks you should own, and also choose a broker. Well, we hope you enjoyed that and hope you learned something and are ready to get started investing now.
So make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments below if you have any topics you want us to cover. We obviously have a certain amount of topics that we want to cover and hope to, but at the end of the day, these are educational videos to try and help you. So if there's anything that's confusing, let us know in the comments below or suggest some topics and we'll be sure to cover them.
Yeah, please like the video and we'll see you soon.
See you in the next one.